everyone.
Aloha.
Oh, I think we can do a little bit better than that. Let's try that one more time. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Much better. Welcome to Aulani. Welcome to the Makiki. Welcome to the DVC Poke and Sake demonstration. I'm Greg. I'm going to be the chef here for you today. Here at Aulani, we like to feel like we're one big happy family. So with that being said, I would like to know each and every one of you just a little bit better. All I want to do is just start off on this side. We'll work our way around the room. All you need to do is say where you're from and your family's last name. If you're in a group, one person can just say where you're all from.
Michelle, we're from Vancouver,
Vancouver?
Canada.
Welcome.
Weaver, Idaho.
Idaho?
I'm
Welcome.
from California.
What was that?
I'm from California.
You're from California? You're not claiming Idaho? Nah, just kidding. Welcome.
Huber from California.
California as well. Welcome everyone. Again, my name is Greg Gaston. I'm one of the chefs here at Aulani. I've been here for almost 12 years now. I used to be one of the chefs here at Makini, but now I'm one of the chef that oversees all of the QSR outlets. I'm a local boy, born and raised. I went to a high school that needed to be part Hawaiian. So with that being said, I am part Hawaiian, Chinese, and Filipino. Although I've been chef here for almost 12 years now, I've been doing the food thing for about 30 years now. Why am I doing the poke and sake demonstration, or well, the poke side of the demonstration? It's because I wanted to tie two of my passions. Hopefully, if I've been doing this for 30 years, hopefully that's one of my passions. The other passion is growing up in an island surrounded by water. What hobbies do you do growing up? I tried all the water sports, from diving, bodyboarding, boogie boarding, surfing, and many more. But fishing was one of the ones that really stuck with me. So growing up, me and my father would fish all the time. During my teen years, I was lucky enough to work on my uncle's boat with my dad and my uncle, and we went out and we caught the yellowfin and the big white tuna right offshore. So a great experience for me. So I wanted to tie my passion for the love of the ocean, fishing, and my knowledge of food into the poke demonstration for today, and a little bit of our culture here in the islands as well. My partner in crime.
Hello everyone. My name is Frank. I'm one of the managers here at Hawaiian, and I will be doing the sake demonstration for you all. So very excited to share some information about it. Thanks, Chef.
Last but not least, we have Dustin.
I am Dustin. If you guys need anything throughout the show, just let me know. We'll break it down.
Thank you, Dustin. All right. Before we dive into the actual demonstration part, I just wanted to pay a little attention to the nice piece of tuna that I have in front of me. I'm going to walk this around the room. All I want you to do is take in the colors, the texture, even the smell. Fish does smell like fish, but good fresh fish should not be overwhelmingly smelling like fish. Once it does, it's starting to, that means it's tail of this one, maybe a little bad or it's old. I want you to take in the colors. I know the lighting here in Makini is not very good, but try to see all the pinks and the reds in the fish itself. This is actually a number 2+ grade big eye tuna, freshly caught off the island or off the waters here. This is near the belly section, so you can see some of the nice pink or fat in the belly. Fat is good. That does a big part of the grading system. I'll go over the grading system a little bit later, so if we can hold the questions for that until later. But just take in the colors, look at the texture, not slimy, nice, really nice piece of fish here. You see the color difference in some of the fat? Again, this is a big eye tuna, 2+ grade.
What's the rest of the people going to eat?
What was that?
What are they going to eat?
We'll figure it out. That's it. I need to get this back to the sushi chef in the Olelo room. I literally stole that from him. He's gonna be mad at me if you don't return that. All kidding aside, I want to make sure I get the fish into the refrigerator because fish is very time and temperature sensitive. So I want to make sure we keep that nice and cold so it stays nice and fresh. A couple questions before we get started. Any first-time poke eaters today or raw fish eaters? You've never had raw fish before?
Well, I have.
Oh, okay. I just
We
want
need to make her love it.
Well, let's see what we can do today. Any first-time sake drinkers today?
I'm not this claim on the first time, but I know nothing about sake.
Perfect. Do you like alcohol?
Of course.
So you're gonna have a great day. I already see that you're having a
That's
good. So we got the experience class today. Awesome. All right. Let's see. One more question. Allergies. I know that someone has an allergy to nuts and tree nuts. Do you know if you're okay with kukui nut?
I don't know what that is. So can we just
Let's be
avoid
safe.
it for
Yeah.
me?
So for your poke, you're gonna be getting it from me.
Okay.
I'm gonna make yours nut free.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Let's get started. What last question, and then we're gonna jump into the nutrition part. I mentioned I was a local boy, born and raised. If you were to come into my home or any local's home, going to my kitchen, our kitchen, what are 3 food items you're almost guaranteed gonna find?
Rice.
Soy sauce, excellent. Spam, you're one of the first persons that get that right off the bat. Excellent. I'll go through a bunch of people and they will get spam. The island's #1 consumer of spam. And last but not least,
Rice.
Rice is the #1 answer. Rice, we eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Snack time, probably eating rice too. Did you know that McDonald's is the only McDonald's in the United States that actually serves rice with our breakfast platters here in the islands? Pretty interesting, huh? That's how much us locals love rice. So before I dive into the poke section, I wanted to just give a quick tutorial on how to make rice or cook rice. Anybody cook rice on a regular basis, at least once a week? Yeah? Excellent. For you, that's going to be more of a refresher. For those that don't cook rice regular, it's going to be more of a tutorial or learning process. So I'm going to dive into rice. Now, when I'm talking about rice, it's going to be about short grain rice. I know there's a ton of different grains out there: sticky rice, long grain rice, arboreal rice. But I'm talking about short grain to medium grain rice. Okay? Let's get started. I'm going to get a glove on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash the rice. People say, "Chef, why do you need to wash the rice? Is the rice dirty?" The rice is not actually dirty, but in the process of milling the rice down or polishing it, there's a lot of starch that comes off of the rice, and we want to take away all that extra starch. Reason being is because if you leave the starch in, which is perfectly fine, you do not need to wash it. It does get a little bit more sticky, a little bit more matted together. The starch does hold the rice in together. I want to take off that starch so there's a little bit more definition of or separation of the rice kernels once it's cooked. So I just have regular short grain rice here, dry. I'm gonna take fresh tap water, and then I'm gonna wash it. What I mean by washing it, just swish it around, get it mixed up. You can use a strainer if you want to, which is perfectly fine. With just a few seconds, the water is actually turns milky in color, and that's just the starch coming off of the rice. And if you've done this before, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do this about 3 to 4 times. What I mean by 3 to 4 times is I'm gonna pour out the cloudy water, add fresh water. We're gonna wash it 1 more time, a second, a 3rd time, even a 4th time. By the 4th time, you're gonna see that this water has now started to almost run clear. Japanese even go as far as 5, 6 times, so the water actually runs very clear. For the sake of time, I have pre-washed rice here. I already washed it 4 times. I'll make sure it got dry again. Let's talk about the rice cooker before we move on. This is a Tiger brand rice cooker. I prefer, or I do like the Tiger brand. Many locals here like the Tiger brand, in fact, this particular rice cooker here. This is a 10-cup rice cooker. Why we like it is because it's a good quality rice cooker, and it's reasonable. It's probably costs about $100 to $120 depending where you're at. There's many cheap ones running about $30 to $40, and then there's the real expensive ones, the Japanese, Korean ones run about $350 to $400, some even $500. Those are the ones where you can play music, sing karaoke, right? But at the end of the day, we're making rice. So for $100, $120, I really like this deal. Each rice cooker comes with the rice pot itself, or the rice cooker itself, a rice paddle, the rice pot or insert, and last but not least, a measuring cup. Now, the most important thing, water to rice ratio. Anybody want to guess?
First knuckle.
First knuckle.
First knuckle.
Up to the first
You're the
knuckle.
first to ever say that right off the bat. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but anybody know the actual measurement?
No. It's always first
But my
knuckle.
knuckles all I use.
It's actually 1-to-1 for the short grain rice. But what they're talking about, if you've never done that before, Asians love to, when they measure water to rice, What they do is they finger technique. I use my middle finger, but other people use their index finger. But the middle finger, you get your washed rice, you level it off, and then you take the tip of your finger to the first line? Digit? Is that what it's called? Yeah, I thought a finger is a digit.
Yes. That's what I was told.
The first line in your finger. Let's just go with that. I don't know what it's called. The first line in your finger, that's where you're going to fill the water up to and stop. Or he mentioned the first knuckle, but I would think the knuckle is this one.
Oh, it's anyone
Yeah,
really.
that's what I do that.
Let's just go with the first line. And obviously, by the word that you're talking about, it actually does work. You do it all the
My
time.
whole
right?
life I've done that way, yeah.
And it really does work for some crazy reason. It doesn't matter if you're short, you're tall,
Yeah.
if you have big hands or small hands, it really does work.
No matter how much rice you're doing either, if you're doing a small batch or a large batch, it works out the same every
Same
way.
thing, right? All the
Yeah.
time. Do I recommend it? Absolutely not. Rice cookers come with a measuring cup, 1-to-1, and you're perfectly fine all the time. But it actually does work. If you want to try it, go for it. If it doesn't come out for you, blame this guy. All right, here goes the rice pot. I got measured 1-to-1 water to rice. Just level it off. We're gonna set it and then forget it. Now go walk your dog. 30 minutes later, you got fresh rice for dinner. So I blew through that pretty fast because it's pretty easy. Anybody got any quick questions on how to make rice?
Can you use anything other than water? Like
Anything
raw?
other than water? Oh, absolutely. You could use, Japanese like to use dashi or flavored water with bonito or fish, like a fish stock. You could use chicken stock, just depending on what you're gonna use the rice for.
What about coconut milk? She started to ask that.
Coconut milk? Absolutely, you're gonna get a hint of coconut milk flavor. Actually, in Off the Hook, one of our dishes, we do serve a coconut rice. So yes, you could.
What's your preference on like the inside of the rice you're cooking, like Tefal inside or stainless steel?
I prefer Tifa. It's so much easier to clean. Of course, non-stick, but
Because those pricier ones are stainless steel, right?
I'm not sure actually.
They are.
I've never gone past the $120 one because I can't afford the $350.
So when you say 1-to-1, so 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water?
Yes.
And is that for any type of rice, whether it's jasmine, basmati, short grain,
just
long
for
grain?
the short grain to
Short
medium grain
grain,
rice.
short grain to medium.
Thai sticky rice is actually half water. Once you wash it, half water to 1 rice. So there's many different brown rice. You're at almost 2-to-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just depending on the rice, it's a lot different. So what I talked about was just for short grain rice, 1-to-1.
Okay.
All right, now let's get started. If we don't have any more questions on rice, let's get started. A couple things. You have a little recipe card that's in front of you. Those are yours to keep. There's also a pen there. Some people like to take notes. Some people just like to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Whichever way you want to go, that's perfectly fine. But those are yours to take home. Also, the placemat that is in front of you that looks like this, those are yours as well, so you can take that. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about history as far as poke goes. This original first poke that we're going to do is original Hawaiian style. We're going to go way back into the Hawaiian days, way back. Back then when they didn't have any technology like we have today. They didn't have fishing reels or lines or hooks or depth finders or boats. So they weren't catching the nice tuna that we're going to eat today or that we enjoy today. All they had was makeshift spears, lay nets, and throw nets. So all they were catching was the reef fish that surrounded the island in the very beginning. And the Hawaiians love that fish. They enjoy the fish. Although it really tastes like reef, it tastes like seaweed and very oceany flavor. If I were to give you some of that today, you probably would not like it. But back then it was really tasty to the Hawaiians. And I actually enjoy that type of fish as well, just because I was brought up with it. But it's very acquired taste. So the ingredients that we have today, this is my recipe for the Hawaiian style. The ingredients are simple to match the simplicity of the fish and to enhance the ocean taste of the initial refish. But we're gonna use tuna today. I'm gonna walk around this tuna. This is big eye tuna again. This is a number 2 grade. Side by side, you probably can't tell the difference between a 2 and a 2 plus. Kind of look the same of the 2 plus that I was walking around earlier. And I'll get into the grading system on how experts can tell which is which. So in the Hawaiian language, we all know poke as the outcome. I'm gonna eat poke, make poke, go to the store, buy some poke. But then in the Hawaiian language, poke is actually means the way it's cut, to cut lengthwise into cubes. So the style or cut of the fish is actually poke in Hawaiian. We're gonna get started with the Hawaiian style. If you're following along with your recipe card, this is half of the ingredients that's on your card. I just want to let you know that, so in case you do make this at home, you're not saying, wow, how come chef's was so much little and mine is so much more. So it's half of the recipe. Let me get a glove on. All right, we're gonna start with the nice fresh tuna. We have the tuna that's cut into cubes. We're gonna go with the sweet Maui onions. It's a sweet white onion. Initially was grown in Maui and then name stuck with it, but in the islands we use a lot of Maui onions. Then we have sliced green onions. We have ogo. Anybody know what ogo or limu is? We have seaweed. The Hawaiian name for ogo is limu. Japanese is ogo, and of course we all know it as seaweed. This is cultivated seaweed or farm raised. Back in the day, you used to be able to go down to the ocean on certain reefs or sandy areas or reefy areas on the low tide and be able to pick some fresh ogo. But nowadays, due to global warming, overpicking, overpopulation, there's very rare places now you can find actual fresh ogo. But there are some places. So I have the ogo that's chopped in that goes. Anybody know what is kukui nut, inamona, or candle nut? Gentlemen, when you came to the islands, anybody got a lei that looks like this?
Mm-hmm.
Never? Over the years? Usually the gentleman would get a, you go to the, some luau's pass out the kukui nut lei. But this is a kukui nut lei. This is polished and made to look very pretty, but the kukui nut actually grows in a tree, in a pod. Open up the pod, inside is the kukui nut. Break open the kukui nut, and inside is a fleshy nut. And this is what it looks like. This is ground and roasted kukui nut, or inamona, candle nut.
The luau here gives out the kukui nut necklaces.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good to know.
So can you purchase this made like that?
Great question. Here in the islands you can. I don't know if you can find that outside of the islands. But yes, you can purchase the nuts. The nut, it looks just like this.
So is this considered a crucial ingredient to real food?
It is not in the authentic sense, yes. Because they used this back in the day. We enjoy it even today. But a good substitute, if you can't find kukui nut, would be macadamia nut, or the closest substitute, because it has a high oil content, roasts up nicely, and has a good nutty flavor. But there really, when you taste this, there really is no substitute, to be honest. And I'll let you taste this separate from the poke later.
I'll have to check Amazon.
Yeah.
So the kukui nut has a high oil content. The Hawaiians used to take the oil from the kukui nut, put it to a makeshift wick, put flame to it, and it would hold the flame, hence a candle, or they call it a candle nut. Hawaiians also would consume the kukui nut as a laxative. That's why we're gonna have some today, right? True story, it was consumed as a laxative, but you have to consume a lot of it for it to become a laxative. The amount that we're having today will be perfectly fine. Well, I hope at least. All right, so I'm not going to add the kukui nut into mine just because I'll be serving you yours. But from the back, you're going to be getting the poke with the kukui nut. Last 2 ingredients. When I do these demonstrations or talk about food, I like to give a hint or a tip on the last 2 ingredients. One is salt and one is spice. When you're doing cooking or using a recipe, it calls for X amount of salt or spice. Everyone's tolerance is a little different for both. Some people like it spicy and some people don't, or some people like it salty, some people don't. So when you're cooking, I always say err to the caution. Use half. You can always add more. But once you've added too much, it's too spicy or too salty for you, you can't do anything about it. Well, you could do a couple things. The first thing you can do is you're gonna have to throw it out because it's just too salty for you. You can't eat it. Or second thing, you're gonna buy more ingredients, add it to it just so you can make it edible or at least more to your liking. Or the third thing, like me, I'm too cheap to throw away nice fish like we have today. So I'm just gonna make more rice and eat it with the rice.
I was gonna say, do that.
Right, you're not wasting. All right, so with the chilies, I'm just gonna go a little bit and just go half. I can always add more, and same with the Hawaiian side.
Using a dry red chili or a fresh?
In your recipe, there's two different chilies. One is the fresh Hawaiian chili. It's a small chili about this big, but it really packs a punch, so it's really spicy.
Is it like a bird's eye chili or a Thai chili?
It's different. It's a local chili, Hawaiian chili found here. I'm not sure. There's probably variants of it that you can find other places, but in a setting like this, I don't know everybody's heat tolerance. So I went with the lesser of the two. I just went with the crushed chilies. But if you love chilies, you love spice, by all means, your favorite chili would work perfectly fine in this as a substitute as well. Habaneros, we like those chilies.
Is the Hawaiian one
chilies.
hot?
It is hot.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot. All right. Now we have all the ingredients in our bowl ready to mix. Anybody been to the spa, Lanipai Spa or any spa? In the spa, did you see any treatments? Anything called lomi lomi? No? Why am I talking about the spa here at the Poke Demo, right? So in the Hawaiian language, the word lomi lomi, it actually means to massage. And that's why there's lomi lomi treatments or massage treatments. But the Hawaiians, they like to put a lot of emphasis in food because food was life. They didn't eat to have fun and to enjoy. They eat for life. So they put a lot of adjectives into when they're cooking. So one of them is lomi lomi, which means to massage. So I'm gonna lomi lomi the poke, massage, mix everything in, love it. Simple ingredients, fresh fish. There you have it. It would look a little bit different with the kukui nut, and you'll see yours in a little bit. So now is when you're gonna you would taste it to make sure that it tastes good. And there you have it. That's the first poke, the Hawaiian style. You're welcome. If you're eating this the Hawaiian style, we use the Hawaiian salt as we did in the recipe. The Hawaiian salt, it doesn't lose its texture like other salts. It kind of holds its integrity, holds its crunchiness. So as you're eating it, you get a little salt crystals that kind of burst in your mouth. I really like that. I enjoy that. So one of my suggestions would be that if you're before you head home, just buy a little bag of Hawaiian salt like this. They have the different colors, white and pink, and they also have the black. But one small bag like this probably costs you like $4. And it's enough to last you a full year. And so when you come back to see me at the Poke Demo again next year, then you just buy another bag.
Can we buy that here?
Any of the local stores have Hawaiian salt.
Oh, I meant like here? Can we buy
Oh,
it?
here on property? No.
No.
How's everybody enjoying their poke made by chef himself?
Delicious.
Delicious? Everybody loves raw fish here. Very good. That poke you're probably tasting is probably one of my top favorite recipes. growing up here on the islands too, so I'm glad you're all really enjoy it. And what makes a difference too is the quality of the fish. So what you're getting is kind of pretty good stuff. On to the next segment of the demo, of course, sake. Everybody's probably been waiting for this one. If you see those little glasses over there, this is the Tozai Royal Wisdom Ginjo sake. This is available here at the Aulani Road as well as the Machiki and a few other outlets over here. You can get this for about, I think they go for about $30 a bottle. A lot of shots over here. Anyway, does anybody know anything about sake by chance? Here, there, so.
It's just the basics.
The basics, wonderful. Has anybody ever been to Japan before? No.
Not yet.
Wonderful. I may be the expert here, then maybe. So sake is of course fermented rice, wine, rice that's been fermented. There are a few different tiers of sake too, depending on fermentation, quality of rice, and the whole overall process, whether it's been, how do I say, mechanically made versus processed in the way of old traditional culture. So the one you have to be tasting right now, has anybody taken a sip yet? Besides this gentleman here in the right, his glass is about half empty. Please, by all means, there's no need to ration it. If you need a refill, I can always top you off a little bit more.
It pairs very well with the dish.
Is everybody tasting it yet? Everybody's of age, correct? Okay, wonderful. Can you tell me what notes, flavors, aromas that come to mind when you taste this one in particular? Tasting a little sweet, maybe tropical, floral, absolutely. Yes, you nailed it, sir. Tropical notes. This one here, this one has the honeydew and melon, and a little bit grape.
Yeah.
You can taste it. Now, this one is the ginjo. Ginjo is a type of sake that hasn't been naturally fermented through the whole process. Ginjo is, when you think of ginjo, you think of a type of sake that's been enhanced by a little bit of alcohol to speed up the process and to craft the flavors of a particular brand. So to get it to where manufacturers or companies want to get a certain flavor, ginjo is the type of sake that's been blended in with alcohol to speed up the fermentation process. That's basically the gist of ginjo. We'll have the opportunity to taste another one after that. Does anybody have any questions about sake?
How much bottle is that?
This one, oh, I'm glad you asked. So this one is 14.9. So.
What's the selling price of it? What's the price point?
Oh, so this one, retail value, we probably go about $30 for this one. So ginjo is a type of sake. It's not a celebratory type of sake. Unless you could use it, but this one, since it's sold in a bigger type of bottle, this one can be used for like almost every day after work, after a hard day's work type of situation or occasion. It's a drunken common, but you can also use it for special occasions. Good question, though. Thank you. 14.97. Typically around the same alcohol content as their normal bottle of wine, maybe at the grocery level.
So do you recommend that sake always be served chilled versus hot?
Thank you for asking that. So the ideal, the concept of sake chilled, sake warm is all seasonal. So you would drink something warmer on an occasion that the weather is colder. Chilled sake is probably the best around this weather in Hawaii all around because typically it's hot, so we'll balance that out with a chilled drink. That's the idea. Japan typically, they go through seasons too. Same like the mainland. And that's where the idea comes from. Kind of balancing the body temperature, I guess. Anybody else? Does anybody want a little bit more?
I got hers already.
Absolutely. I'll be back to top off the glasses.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Another thing I learned about me personally, because I like to drink as well, that I learned about the cold and the warm is definitely seasonal. But when you heat the sake up, you can definitely use lesser quality sakes. And when you heat it up, it brings out the flavor and the lesser quality. So something like this, you probably want to have it room temperature or chill. And then the cheaper quality or very cheap sakes, warm that up, and then it tastes a lot better. So when you go to like happy hours, that's like box sake. You know how you have box wine? Box sake, put it in a little decanter, and then they heat it up, and then they serve it warm. So just something I've experienced. While Frank is topping you off, and by all means, take advantage of Frank, because the more you drink, the funnier we get, I promise. While we're just gonna dive into the grading system real quick, just to talk about where we get from one grade to the other. So jumping into it, a quick way, or anybody has ever watched Wicked Tuna? Yeah, Wicked Tuna is one of my favorite shows. It depicts a bunch of captains on their boats with their crew on the eastern side of the United States, as far up as Canada line, all the way down to the Floridas, and they're going after the most prized bluefin, most prized tuna, which is the bluefin tuna. There's strict regulations on the bluefin tuna. You can only catch one per captain per day, and then also the size. Anything smaller than 75 inches needs to be thrown back, so they can get large enough to reproduce. Keepers are anything 75 inches or bigger. In the show, they catch the big tuna, and sometimes they go days without catching it. Eventually, when they do land the fish, they bring it onto the boat, and what they want to do, I mentioned earlier, fish is very time and temperature sensitive. They're going to gut it, they're going to gill it, they're going to stuff it with ice. They want to get that fish as cold as possible, as fast as possible, to preserve the quality of the fish. And they race into shore, into dock. There's a buyer waiting there. They test the fish. How do they test it? They do two things. They take a core sample like this. They have a little tool that takes a core sample right down usually down the middle of the fish, and they bring it out, put it on the board, and now they can see all the reds and the pinks that we saw earlier. Because from the outside looking in, all the fish look the same. So they need a way to look inside. The next thing they do is they take a tail sample. The tail sample is usually right around here. And why they do a tail sample is because they don't want to waste a nice fish that's more upper towards the head. So they take the tail sample where there's a lot of muscle fiber, they call it sinew, tendons, and string and things like that. So they take that, and then what they do is they're looking for fat. They're looking for the fat in the minors and the majors here. And you can tell by the amount of fat here, how much fat is throughout the fish. So that's how they get their quality of the fish, and then they get offered a price for the quarter fish. Here in the islands, we do it a little bit different. They do it a little similar to Japan. We have an auction here in the islands. So we have an auction here in Honolulu, one of the piers. All the fish comes brought into the auction. The auction is open 6 days a week. They only close on Sundays and holidays. All the fish gets offloaded, goes into auction. They all get tagged. They get put out on a refrigerated floor, pallets in a refrigerated room, and there's buyers. Buyers go in, they look at the fish, same thing. They look at the fat content. They want to know about texture, and then each fish is tagged, so they know which fish is which. Once the auction starts, they go from one fish to the next. Bid, highest bidder gets the fish. I get it real easy. I don't have to go down to the auction. Disney has 3 fish vendors that they go through a process to become our vendors. They do all the dirty work. They go down, wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, go down, do the auction. I sit at my desk, wait for their prices. They'll send me their prices on number 2, number 2 plus. That's the only 2 grades that we use here on property. Once I see the prices, I tell them how much I want, send, and I'm done for the day. So it's pretty convenient for myself. For them, it's a little bit more a process.
So the fish that you buy today, is that what you're serving tonight?
Yes. I would say 80% of it. There is some carryover from today into tomorrow, but most of the fish gets brought in and is served that the day of. The only carryover would be from Saturday's fish because they're closed on Sundays. We don't get any fish on Sundays, but fresh fish come Monday morning. So every morning by 8 a.m. we're getting our fresh fish. Pretty cool, huh?
How many pounds do you buy a day?
I can't speak for the other outlets, but as far as QSR, which I oversee, which is Off the Hook, Poolside, Ulu Cafe, I go through about 100 pounds a day of Aulani. A little bit more on the weekends. Great questions. Now, I mentioned earlier, texture, fat, and color. Those are all things that go into the grading system. So today we're eating number 2. The only other place uses higher grade, which is 2+. It's going to be the Aloha room or our sushi bar. They use the number 2+ for sashimi and dirty eating.
Where would you go if you wanted to get number 1 grade?
Number 1 grade. On the island, there's several places that they do sell all the different grades, and some of them is from Japan as well. Marukai is one of the good ones that they sell Japanese from Japan ahi. The last time I was there, I could have swear it was like $50 a pound for that high grade.
What about Nina's?
I can't speak for them. I'm not sure. Great question. Any other quick questions? All right, let's dive into the next poke. If you're following along, this is going to be the shoyu ginger poke. Again, this is half of the recipe. Let me get it going. We have that same number 2 grade tuna diced into cubes. Now, we talk about the cubes. That's a nice size cube. It's really your preference. If you like smaller, if you like bigger, it's really up to you. Certain places will cut theirs smaller, other places larger. But I think this is a nice perfect size. And then when I'm cutting my ingredients for the poke, I like to make sure that the ingredients match the size of the poke. So it's like bite size. I don't want my onions really big. So that's just me and that's my preference. So we're gonna start off with the same tuna. I got the Maui onions again. The thinly sliced green onions. Now I mentioned earlier about the salt when you're adding salt to an ingredient recipe. I'm gonna add all the soy sauce to this one. The only reason that you can do all of the soy sauce for this one is because I follow it up with sugar. The sugar is gonna balance the saltiness of the soy sauce. Now, if you're watching the amount of salt that you're intaking, by all means use low sodium, or even you can cut back on the amount of soy sauce as well. We have toasted sesame seeds. We have sesame oil. And we have ginger juice. Anybody know how to get ginger juice or what ginger juice is?
It's great. Fresh ginger.
Press the ginger. Fresh ginger.
Fresh ginger. It's great.
Fresh
You
ginger.
get a ton
How
of
do
juice
we
out
get
of
the
it.
juice out? This is a nice piece of fresh ginger here. Squeeze it like a lemon. Grate it. Excellent. Great answer. So you're gonna get a bowl like this. You're gonna get your fresh ginger. You can peel it, or if you don't want to peel it, just wash it really good. Make sure it's nice and clean. You're gonna reach into your pocket, and then you're gonna bring out a box grater. Hopefully your box grater is a little bigger than mine. I was almost late for today, I promise. I'm trying to get this ginger juice. So you get your box grater, you get your bowl, put a strainer or some type of cheesecloth works really well, so you can catch all of the grated ginger. And then you just grate it. Once you get the grated ginger, you're gonna press it through the strainer or get the cheesecloth, bundle it up, squeeze it out. If you don't have anything to grate or to grate the ginger, you just peel it and mince it really fine and add it to it minced. It'll taste just as good. It doesn't have to be ginger juice. Excellent. Anybody paying attention? What was the Hawaiian word for massage?
Lomi lomi.
Lomi lomi. Excellent.
Massage? Wow, right.
Free massage. I don't know if I can do that there. All right, so we have our poke. We're gonna lomi lomi. This is a very fragrant poke. So as I'm passing you, it usually hits you when I pass you. You're gonna smell all the sesame, the ginger juice, the soy sauce.
Yeah, I love sesame oil.
You smell that?
Yeah.
Looks
do.
pretty good, huh?
Oh, that smells so good.
Again, fresh fish, simple ingredients.
Thank you.
Where I've been trained. I went to a local culinary school, KCC.
This looks so good.
My favorite.
Yeah. There's no nuts in this one, so you're good.
That's delicious.
So if you're making this at home for dinner or for maybe you have some friends coming over for a party, I would do the same thing like I had here. Get all of your ingredients cut, get them all ready separately. Have your poke ready. When your guests come over, about 10 minutes before you want to serve it, that's when you want to mix it. If you mix it too early, the soy sauce will actually marinate into the fish, and it's still good, but the texture is going to change. You're spending money on fresh fish. You want to make sure you keep that nice texture of the fresh fish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Ladies and gentlemen, now while you're all enjoying one of my favorite pokés over there, the soy ginger poke, that is gonna be one of the more common and more popular choices of poke on the island. Soy, sugar, that sweetness, very delicious. I'm very jealous that you get to have
We had
the
extras.
We did, didn't we? Actually, we're saving that for lunch later. But yes, you're absolutely right. So. But the whole sake and poke experience, very good experience. And I'm glad that you're all getting to try it out. The next round of sake that is going around, this one is the Kubota. Kubota Junmai Dai Ginjo. So the first one was Ginjo, which was the one that we were talking about, more commonly sold at markets all over, kind of sped up through the process of mixing alcohol and the fermentation process. This is Dai Ginjo. So anytime you hear Junmai Dai Ginjo, this Dai means pure in Japanese. So anytime you hear you order a sake, you hear Dai Ginjo, the process hasn't been tainted through the speeding up process of adding alcohol to it and other flavors. This one is naturally, traditionally processed. That's why typically it's sold in smaller bottles and sold at a more expensive price. This one typically $50 a bottle. I'm guessing anywhere between, depending on how fast you drink your shots, you go buy maybe like four or five glasses. So yes, Junmai Dai Ginjo, this type of sake is more celebratory. This one is like special occasions, weddings, congratulations, occasions of that sort. It's meant to be not drunken quickly, but more type of sake where you actually savor and taste. Not that saying that you have to do that here.
Just move it to the side. You're good.
Bottomless,
No peeking.
Sake for you all for this sake demonstration. After tasting this one, has anybody gotten a chance to taste it yet? Yes? What can you tell me about it? What do you
Definitely
smell?
sweeter than sweeter. That's sweet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Pineapple. Nailed it.
And
Yes.
it doesn't have the alcohol hit that you had on the first one there.
Correct.
The alcohol was much more present. This one's much more integrated, so you don't pick up. You don't get that.
Absolutely. What this gentleman was saying is that you can taste the alcohol, but there's less of the bite,
Yeah.
correct? And you can tell because it hasn't been mixed in with the other alcohol. Not saying that Ginjo is a bad sake. You know, it's cheaper, it's over the counter, and they can get the flavor that they want. But anytime you're enjoying Junmai Dai Ginjo, Dai Pure Ginjo sake, you definitely have some good quality. Both of them. This one's also available at the level room if you're in the room. Right?
Does that mean they let it ferment naturally rather than the first one?
Absolutely. And then, so we can go more in depth about sake. There's so much information, but you brought up a good point, sir. So, Junmai Daiginjo, when you talk about Junmai, there's all type of tiers of sake. Junmai is the process where the fermentation process is 50% or more of the rice that's left over. When rice is fermented, it of course gets smaller and smaller, and the alcohol content grows, increases. So anytime you have junmai, it reaches a certain tier where the quality of the alcohol is more pure. Does that make sense? Jun, not jun.
So this is one you wouldn't necessarily want to heat.
Ooh, yeah, you don't want to, when you heat, you might lose alcohol content, and you tend to, for lack of a better word, you have been appreciating the craft and how it's supposed to be served. Chef did remind me, and I worked at a numerous sushi bars as well, and the ones that we do warm up are typically like the boxed wine that you get out of the grocery store. You know, it's something you can see, you can manipulate, change, taint, for lack of a better word. But anytime you want this, something pure like this, you got to take it out and save it.
Can you keep sake once it's been opened, or is it like wine where if you don't drink it right away, it's not really good?
Same. I would say same. Anytime I've ever popped open a bottle of sake, it's never lasted. It's never been saved. Can I speak for everyone else? Probably not, but my recommendation, sake does get rancid too.
Okay.
100%.
I got a follow-up question. Is that bottle open?
Is this bottle open?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
But it will be. Right now. I'm glad you're all enjoying the. Did anybody have any more questions? I'm sorry, I talk really fast and there's just so much.
What was the price point on this one?
This one is about 50
For that
60.
375?
But typically, if you do, I mean, we do have a few Japanese local grocery outlets, but the more of the market price is a little bit cheaper. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, they're gonna market it.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say 50 to 60.
Yeah.
Or 30 to 40 if you find a really great story. Let me know about it. And then,
All right, thank you, Frank. A follow-up on your question about once you open it.
Yeah.
His answer was perfectly great. Drink it as soon as you can. Don't hold on to it.
Okay.
But my follow-up to that is that if so, my wife and I we get special bottles of sake gifted to us, and we're like, oh, we're gonna celebrate and we're gonna wait for something to celebrate. So we had it on the side waiting, and by the time we actually came around, forgot about it, came around to celebrating and actually opened it, the color changed. It went from clear to almost slightly caramel looking. Took a chance, drank it anyway, but like Frank said, it can go rancid or.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've opened it before the packs and saved it, but I didn't know if that was now considered good or bad.
Yeah. So nowadays I just go for it. Never mind trying to save it or wait for a celebration. All right.
You know, there's,
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
so you know, there's wine savers where you can like pump the air out of the bottle.
That might work. I've never tried that.
I was gonna say, would that work on these sakes as well?
In theory.
Because it's filtered, it's gonna last a little bit longer. But there's some sakes that are unfiltered as well that should be kept refrigerated. So depending on that, but like I said,
Do that for you.
I would-
Yeah.
Just drink the bottle.
That's what I'm saying. Don't save it.
Problem solved.
You're better off just drinking it.
Yeah.
Or just if you don't drink it that day, the next day for sure.
Is it a thing that, like in the wine industry, you'll do a corkage fee to bring your own, wines here?
Certain
Do they-
places do corkage fees, even with sake.
Yeah, so I was just asking, is that a common thing to bring your own private sake to a?
Some
to a
places,
restaurant?
here in Aulani, we have places that will charge a corkage, or some places that don't have a liquor license and they do bring your own BYOB.
Yeah.
You had a question?
Well, it was more about the quality of fish. Someone who lives in Idaho. Can you buy it frozen and it's like the number 2 frozen and still make poke?
Actually,
It should be
so-
frozen.
So the Japanese flash freeze fish, they have a technology of flash freeze. Not just the Japanese. Now it's more people do it, but it originated with the Japanese flash freezing. And when they due to the technique of flash freezing, when they defrost it, it's almost like it was never frozen. So in that aspect, yes. There are also other ways of you can buy frozen fish. The quality is not going to be as good, to be honest. But if that's all you can get, sometimes it's still good enough.
In Canada, you can get these flat frozen steaks and then you look for the color. So that's what I shop for.
So they're usually they're like sake blocks or the blocks of tuna, right?
Yeah.
And then so the trick to using those type of tuna is that the way you defrost it, you want to make sure that you don't leave it on the counter to defrost or run it under water. Prepare ahead. Keep that fish in the refrigerator to defrost so it stays nice and cold. But when you take it out of the package, and you want to get that dry as much as possible. Drain the water out, even pat it with towels, because the water, if you don't do that initially, when you mix it, the water will leak out then, and then you'll have watery poke.
Yeah.
So get it nice and dry. And then to follow up, she had a question on how to cut the fish. You want to definitely cut fish cold. You don't want to get it stays firmer when it's cold.
And still be almost frozen.
But the trick is sharpening. If you have a dull knife, you're just gonna smash it.
Fish knife, like during COVID, there's nothing open, so I had to learn how to make it, and I watched the video, and they kind of do it semi-frozen, but not frozen, and that's when I cut it. But my question is,
So if you did
Thank
if
you.
it's frozen fish and you do it semi-frozen,
or would be great.
because it's cubes, it
I like that one.
one.
The first one was too hot on the finish.
It doesn't really matter because you're cubing it. Now if you're doing sashimi, then you definitely want to go against it. Because it's just a different
Please
type,
enjoy.
but because it's cube.
Thank you.
It just is. So if you go a long ways and across, you're okay. I hope that answered your question. All right. I just took a peek at the time. We're really having fun. A lot of questions. We're running a little behind as far as time goes. I was about to ask, does anybody have to rush out of here? Any hot dates or anything?
Nope.
All right, we're good then. We're good on
We're good.
Perfect. Sometimes people gotta rush out of here. They got reservations or something. So I just want to make sure that we're all good. We can enjoy ourselves.
We're all good.
All
We're all
right,
good.
perfect. We all have a little black box that I dropped in front of you. I hope nobody peeked. I was trying to watch, but I didn't see anybody peek.
No peeking.
You're all probably wondering what's inside here. A little surprise. So on the count of 10, we're gonna open these covers up and then we're gonna see what's inside. I
10.
finally got a reaction. That was a little. Let's go with 3. On the count of 3, let's pop open these boxes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. What do we have here? I was telling Frank and Dustin, I'm too tired to do the last cookie. The third cookie. So I'm gonna make all of you make your own cookie.
Ah.
So Dustin is going to be coming around with a bowl of poke for each of you. These are your kits, that your ingredient kits that you're going to add into your poke. There's a bunch of things that we've already used or seen in the first couple, in the poke that we made in the front. We have green onions, we have Maui onions, soy sauce. The brown one, or a little bit brown one clear, that's the sesame oil. We have sesame seeds, we have the Hawaiian salt, and soy sauce, that's the darker one. Now we have the red one. What's the red one? Chili sauce? Chili sauce specifically?
Sriracha.
Sriracha. Excellent. And then the white one. What's the white one?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Why would I have mayonnaise in these little kits?
Spicy tuna.
Spicy tuna, spicy mayo.
Is it Koopy?
Excellent. You're doing the class the next time. All right, so we're everybody loves spicy tuna, unless or spicy ahi, unless you don't like spicy, or unless you don't like mayo. But the basic spicy ahi sauce is gonna be mayo, of course. Then you got your sriracha for the heat. Then you want to add some umami or flavor. Then you got your soy sauce and sesame oil. My suggestion is half of the soy sauce, not half of these containers, but when you're mixing it, you're gonna go by your own taste. But I would suggest soy sauce and Hawaiian salt. You get the umami from the soy sauce, and then you get the saltiness from the Hawaiian salt. And it keeps your spicy mayo from being too wet or too runny. Alright?
I'm sorry, I lost you a little bit. Are you suggesting that we use all of the ingredients or only half of the?
Okay, great question. I don't want you to do the recipes that we did already. You've tasted those. You're going off of your own palate. You're going off of your own taste. You like onions? Add onions. You don't like onions? Don't put onions. But you're making your own bouquet. Okay? And anybody not feel comfortable while doing this? You cannot mess this up, I promise. The only way you can mess this up if you're not listening to me right now. These are not dump everything in your poke containers. Okay? This is a lot of sesame oil. You're gonna ruin your fish if you're gonna put all of it. So you're gonna go by your taste. Go a little bit. It's really up to you. That's a lot of onions, but if you like onions, I like onions. Alright? So you cannot mess this up, but as long as you go half, remember the salt and the spice, go easy, you can always add more. Same with the other ingredients. This is way too much sesame oil for your poke. There was a couple guys sitting in this corner like a month ago, drinking up, taking advantage of Frank, having a great time, not listening to a word I was saying. At the end I asked,
What do you say?
What are you saying?
I thought you was the guy a month ago, him and his friend. But at the end when I asked, how was everybody's poke, the guy raised his hand and said, why poke tastes so much like sesame oil? Because he wasn't listening to me. Alright. We're listening. Alright, so these are not dump everything into your poke containers. Go easy, you can always add more. All of these. Like this might be way too much mayo for your liking. Right? Same with the salt, this is way too much salt. Just go easy, go a little sprinkle, taste it, oh, it needs a little bit more salt, needs a little bit more mayonnaise. Now don't make the recipes that I made already. This is your own. You're making your own recipe. Once you're happy, once you're done with your poke and you're not going to add anything else.
It'd be difficult to do because
You have a little, you have a little box of rice. You're gonna dump the poke onto your rice and not use your own poke. That's what the rice is there for. Don't put the rice into your bowl. Don't make fried rice. It still tastes good. Trust me. And then I'm gonna come around. I have ogo, ginger juice, and inamona. If you want to add that to your poke as well. And then for the inamona, just turn over a cover, one of the covers on there, and I'll put a little so you can taste it before you add it in, and then it takes a natural taste of the kukuina.
Wait, say that
Can I
again?
have Frank sample mine before I say?
Who's gonna sample? Hey, that's up to Frank. I can't speak for that.
Can you sample?
Oh, wait.
Put your heart in it.
Put your heart in it.
All right. As I'm coming around, Frank is gonna start talking about the next drink that's gonna go with your third poke. But as I'm coming around, I'm gonna be coming around the ogo. Listen to what Frank is talking about, and then I can put some in your bowl. Just give me the wink, okay? And then Dustin passed around some gloves. There's also a spoon in your kit if you don't want to use the glove at Lomi. But to be honest, that's like going to Disneyland and not riding anything. It's not the full experience. So put that glove on.
Yes, please.
Once again, the ingredients that chef is going on.
There we go. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Did you use cookie mustard? I mean mayonnaise?
Oh, actually, that's best. I prefer best.
I like the MSG and the Japanese version.
I find that the QP just it's better on different applications.
Yeah.
But this one,
You like
because
that?
we're adding so much seasoning, I prefer it.
Yeah.
It's more of a newer company, 10 years now. I had to research it again, and time is flying by. Opened in 2014, so about 10 years old. Very delicious beer, very light, easy drinking. Apples and grape finish, so you should all enjoy that one. Let me know if you need more of those. But after this whole experience, to be honest with you, you've created your own poke, you've drunken sake and local beer. I think it's safe and official to say that you're all local now. Local Hawaiians, it's really impressive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Would you try?
What do you
We
say?
good?
What are we saying going, Frank?
What's that?
Cheers.
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 Is that what?
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
Okole is
Oh yeah, okole, okay.
okole is your butt.
Bottom.
Okole maluna means bottoms up. All right, you have a cover for me? Give you some of this. Right there.
Perfect, thank you.
Taste it, taste a little, so you know what the natural flavor is.
What is this?
It's a crushed up cucumber.
Oh, I thought that was this way. Oh, that's sesame seed.
Yeah.
Should I put that in the seed? Put that in the poke too?
Yeah, that's what's there for.
Oh, I should have sprinkled that in the rice.
I'm sure you know this, but the scavenger hunt.
Last but not least, oh, you're good. Ginger juice.
Oh,
Good.
yes, please.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes, please.
A little goes a long way. So just a kiss.
Thank you.
I made mine too salty.
Uh-oh.
More rice.
More rice.
Just more rice.
Everybody's looking great.
I just wanted to add one thing before I.
Miss your dish?
Have to be here. But now that you've all kind of made your own poke, it's very impressive if you tell someone that grew up and lived here that you made your own poke. So I made that comment about you guys being local, but it's very impressive. Congratulations.
There you go, hold it
I hope
there.
y'all had a great experience.
Glove off.
All right. So if you're tasting your poke and you're happy, you're not doing anything else to it, you're gonna top it onto your rice. If you're keto, don't put it on the rice.
Okay.
If you don't want rice, don't eat it with the rice. Let's take a look here. Oh man, everybody looks great. So I also oversee the Ulu Cafe, and I'm looking for poke mixers if anybody wants.
Thank you.
I really like mine. I really like this.
Yeah. Mine's too salty. It has to be eaten with rice.
We used to go to like Michelin star places, try to find things, but
Like salt or something?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I had some of the kahua nuts mixed in, and so I was trying to get the rest of it out. The bottom layer with salt mixed in too. It was like, oh,
if you
no.
like spicy, you can find a little bit
I
more.
was meant to do that.
All right, everybody's poke is looking great. Anybody not like their poke?
I added too much salt.
I did too.
Just like you said, I can't take away the salt.
Were the two of you not listening like the two guys in the corner there?
Salt and soy.
Lesson learned.
It is.
But that's what the beer is for. So if you're here in the islands, like we love our beer, so we'll roll up at a potluck. So here, especially on the weekends or Friday. Today's Friday, right? Pauhana Friday. But yeah. It's on Friday, so like after work, we'll meet up, have a little potluck. People will bring all different kinds of poke, bust out the grill, show some steaks on the grill, drink beers. If there's sake there, little bit of sake shooters, right, Dustin?
Where are you guys going? Because I'll bring mine.
I don't know if you have enough to go around there. But like I said, get the Hawaiian salt, put this on your steak, throw it on the grill, on your little hibachi. I swear your friends would think that you did something crazy to it. But just Hawaiian salt and steak, or anything, pork chops, great. Just holds its texture a little bit better.
Like a difference between kosher.
Like kosher kind of melts, but the Hawaiian salt, even after grilling, you'll see the Hawaiian salt still on top of it. So when you cut it and you feel like it just,
I've had that on things where it's crunchy.
yeah.
So what do you use, so kosher salt, is that more for like soaking like
Kosher salt is more for like seasoning salads and stuff. You know, like you don't want crunchy bits in your salad, so you use a kosher salt in your pasta salad. Kosher salt is more a main seasoning. The Hawaiian salt I would use more for like I'm not gonna use the Hawaiian salt for like if I'm making stew or something, because it's all gonna dissolve in. So I use kosher salt. The Hawaiian salt is something that's gonna like hold it to taste.
Yeah. It's similar to like the French gray sea salt that I use, a real super large flakes.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
All right. I forgot to ask you before we open these boxes. I just had a couple quick questions. The poke, out of the two, which one was your favorite? The Hawaiian style? Who liked the Hawaiian style better?
The Hawaiian style
Was
is
the first one.
It's nice. I like both.
You like both? If you had to pick one, you're gonna go with.
I'm gonna pick number two.
I'm gonna make number 2 at home.
Okay, who liked number 2 better? Which of course is the better flavored one. But the reason I served it like that is because if I served the shoyu ginger first, your palate would have been destroyed. The Hawaiian salt or the Hawaiian style wouldn't have been as flavorful. But I also wanted you to taste how natural the fish tastes with the Hawaiian salt, the Hawaiian version. Once you get all the marinated sesame oil, soy sauce, it kind of masks the fish flavor. But the natural fish flavor came out better in the Hawaiian style. Now sake, who enjoyed the first sake better? Second sake?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Second sake was our favorite. It just drank smoother. It tasted much better. But,
The first one was really hot.
I drink both of them all day. The third favorite. Anybody not like the beer? I think this beer, the Ko Olina cream ale, is really good.
It's very nice.
Huh?
Yeah.
For real? I've seen it.
That's what I like.
The cat. Forget.
Because I kind of get a picture.
But they have a bunch of them, like the El Guapo.
Oh, it's beer that way. Oh, I was thinking Honolulu.
Honolulu Beer Works. Yeah. El Guapo is one of them. That one's pretty good. That's all from Beer Works.
Then you use long beer, or with beer. You can do that.
The bikini bar. Yeah, the
Well,
bikini
the bar was like beer. Same company or?
No, that was Maui Marines. Honolulu Beer Works. Yeah, it was Canada. We used to have it on draft. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Who was it?
10 out of 10.
You like it?
Everything was great.
10 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Your poke was 10 out of 10? Where is this poke?
I'm saying the experience is a 10 out of 10. Like,
Oh, right.
I would tell other people to come, don't miss this.
Excellent.
I don't know what's wrong. Like, they should come.
Man, this class, you guys are ahead of me all the time. Like, you're saying that leads me into what I'm going to talk about right now. You guys are ahead of me all day long. So that's going to conclude our poke and sake demonstration for today. We really wanted to thank all of you for coming out and spending an hour and some change of your time, of your vacation time. So we really feel like we're special to have you here today. We really like doing these classes. I've been doing these since COVID, right after COVID, since we reopened. And Dustin and Frank has been more recently, maybe more like end of last year. But we love doing these classes. We love making new friends, meeting new people. So if you could give us a good rating, you're gonna get a survey once you leave through email. A couple days later, it's out of 5. 5 is the best. We really appreciate a 5. A 4 is great, but it really does us nothing. But if you're at a 1 or a 2, just skip it.
Now use profanity to describe the meal.
Oh, please.
I know this is not your forte, but is the macarons and mimosas classes interesting as this?
Oh, in its own regard. The mimosas class is awesome because it's very hands-on, informational, hands-on, and you can get macarons and mimosas. And then tomorrow mixology, Kaimana, he's next level. He's funny.
Yeah, I've already done that. We got in on Saturday, we go home tomorrow.
Oh no.
I know we're all done. The number 3.
Oh, 1 second. Before you dive into that, Dustin kind of passed it out a little fast. If the surprises were to keep coming, you have one more surprise. If nobody paid attention, these little crafts here. These are Aulani poke and sake demonstration, exclusive sake decanter and sake cup. You cannot get this anywhere else, so please don't re-gift it, don't sell it. It's so exclusive that Dustin and I and Frank, we don't even have one. So if anybody wants to sell theirs,
What's in here?
Awesome.
that's what I'm talking about.
So sweet.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
But
you.
that's to really thank you for being DVC members. We really appreciate all of our guests, but DVC members especially. So thank you all.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then you had
appreciate
one more question, right?
You didn't talk about number 3. Like, what is that?
Oh, okay.
It's dark and disgusting.
Bloodline.
So there's even one more grade lower, and it's called poke grade. Here in the islands, we also have a poke grade. The key to all of this, especially if you're making poke or anything that you're really eating, is that the fish is fresh. Now, if you go to a high-end sushi bar, you're gonna get 1 plus, and most places call that sushi grade. But I don't like that term. So 1 and 1 plus, if you're gonna go to a high-end sushi bar, you pay $300 per head for omakase or something. You're gonna get the top. At the little bar, we use a 2 plus. Everywhere else on the property, we use the number 2. And then, to be honest, it's just what you can afford.
Yeah.
So the number 3 is going to be a little bit cheaper, but as long as the fish is fresh, you can still make poke.
And not.
You don't need number 2. To be honest, number 2 is a high-end poke.
So when there's like the food trucks and the side, what are they using?
I cannot tell. I wouldn't be able to tell you what they're using. Again, that's integrity, right? If you're serving fresh poke and you're saying it's fresh poke and you're selling it small,
And people are
then you
coming
should
back.
be getting quality, right?
But Greg, sometimes you eat at those places, right? Holes in the wall, right?
Where was you ate poke in the restaurant?
The North Shore?
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Which one?
Yeah.
On the North Shore, there's so many, right?
Well, there's only one guy. And,
Was it a food truck?
yeah.
Oh, I haven't been.
I wasn't sure.
Where's your place to go?
Where do I go from poke? There's a place called Poke by the Paro in Kalini or in town. They serve fresh poke. They only serve fresh poke. Their poke is really good. There's a couple in Kapahulu. Fresh Bench. That's what I'm trying to get.
Where is the best loco moco around here?
Makiki breakfast. But they moved though. No. There was almost. Almost.
You look Target.
Safeway poke.
Really?
Safeway, Foodland, Times,
See?
they all serve poke.
And would you eat it? Would you eat it? Would Greg eat it?
Oh, because Greg is on a dime, so yeah. I'm not spending $35 amount on the good stuff, so I'm okay with the frozen poke at $10 a pound versus the fresh at $35. And that's just me because I'm gonna drink it with beer anyway.
You're talking about DVC members, right?
So on the North Shore, we were there, and I ate a place called, I think it was called Porky's People.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Very good.
you been there? Yeah. That was kind of like right down the road from Giovanni's. Right across,
Yeah.
right next to the bridge.
So what do you think of Porky's People?
Oh, it's good, oh, it's popular.
Is that a food truck?
No, 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 it's an establishment. It used to be next to Sprouts. Like a sandwich place. But, like, yeah, like right if you coming from, the Aulani side, is right before, right before Giovanni's, that little section there. It's right next to the river.
Yeah.
You guys should-
Giovanni's closed North Shore. There's a Giovanni's in Kaka. And H1.
I eat all.
Oh, but you need me to one.
That was my, on my bucket list, obviously,
Oh man.
but, and a big close sign on the door. Next time.
Next time.
Well, before the people was for like a lot. It was like, it was kind of famous. It got popular during the pandemic. Like right after. Yeah, everyone was talking about it. Yeah, they're good though. Like, when I went there, like, they did like 1 or 2 o'clock. Like half of their stuff was sold out. Oh wow. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This was delicious.
You enjoy your.
Everything was fantastic. I really enjoyed your presentation.
I'm glad.
We're actually we're going to go from here and do omelet tonight.
Oh, you're having dinner at Alma?
Yeah.
Oh, Alma's nice.
Looking
You're having
forward
some
to it.
wine tonight?
Yeah.
The wine tasting and pairing is good. Hi, Timothy. Good.
Yes, chef, it was great.
What was remember? Bottoms up. There's the meeting cup.
I drank too much over there. Sorry.
Okole, which is your butt, or bottom, balloon, bottoms up. Okole. Okole. Good enough.
That was excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Does everybody feel like you could go home and make it at home now?
Yes, I took all my notes.
You're gonna show the local Porky's cookie store how to make it now, right?
If I can find my
This is Timothy Gussie. He's our food and beverage director. So.